You think the bite would hurt of a snake?
No.
You don't think so?
Unless it was poisonous. No.
Have you ever been bitten by a snake? Here we go, we're hiking through these woods right here. The environment here is so different. Not used to this place. We're over here in the Everglades. What'd you think when you first saw him?
Rattlesnake.
Rattlesnake?
Yes,
What species of rattlesnake?
Diamondback.
Diamondback rattlesnake?
Yes, sir, that's what it was.
Were you scared?
I was terrified.
We're coming up on a mangrove area. Oh yeah, here it is. Would you actually grab him if you knew better?
No.
You would never grab a snake?
Never grab him.
Would you hold him if I held him first?
Yeah, I probably would.
Have you ever been bitten by a snake?
Yes, I have.
Did it hurt?
No, it didn't.
What kind of snake was it?
Garter snake.
Garden snake?
Same thing as that one.
Yeah. The Florida Everglades is one of the most unique ecosystems I've ever experienced. It filters all of the water flowing south from Lake Okeechobee and eventually flows either into the Gulf of Mexico or into the Atlantic Ocean. Now, many species of animals live here, and many of those species are found in north central Florida, like this brown anole. However, many species who aren't native here live here also. Now, it is believed that curlytails are actually not native. They are introduced. They are found on many islands in the Caribbean like Haiti and the Dominican Republic. However, they have taken quite a good foothold here in Florida. Now, this is the Mediterranean gecko. It is also an introduced species found here in north central Florida and in southern Florida. Great camouflage. Got a nocturnal lizard species right here. Probably a Mediterranean gecko. And that's about the end of the similarities to north central Florida. All of the rest of the lizard species I encountered down here were completely different. They were so much larger than anything I'd seen in Gainesville. I had encountered one Cuban anole, but I didn't get a good video of it. However, I had seen several iguanas and heard rumors of Tegu lizards taking over the swamp. Fortunately, there was no sight of those Tegu lizards because they can be extremely detrimental to the ecosystems here. Now, green iguanas are enormous. This is me approaching this large green iguana. Green iguanas are actually more herbivores than they are carnivores, and insectivores. For the vast duration of my trip, it was raining, which means the weather was a little cooler and the iguanas and other reptiles were more dormant or out of sight. But on the last day of my trip, the sun came out, and I was able to photograph and film several large iguana species. I really wanted to capture one. However, these larger iguanas weren't stupid. They didn't get this big being stupid. They were quick to evade. Large full-grown iguanas can actually be a little intimidating. But it wasn't the fact that they were intimidating or that I was threatened by them. I really just didn't want to hurt them in the process of trying to capture one. I wanted to capture a smaller one so I could get a good video of it. These small iguanas were arboreal. They were very quick to evade and go up trees, palm trees to be specific. Now, I'd captured many iguanas in my day, but with such limited time, I couldn't seem to get my hands on one. They were smarter than I thought. They ran underneath vehicles, they ran up palm trees. They had seen people many times. They learned to live around and avoid people at all costs. Also, I didn't want people to think I was going up under their cars or rummaging in their vehicles, so I didn't attempt to go and capture this one. Persistence pays off eventually. I knew if I tried enough times, eventually I would capture an iguana. I would be in the perfect circumstance to where I could actually catch one. So I waited, I watched, and eventually the right time came.
Hey, buddy.
After 3 days of trying to catch an iguana, we finally got one. So this is a juvenile iguana. What a beautiful specimen too. Gotta be careful, I don't want to hurt him. But I didn't capture me catching it. He was right in front of me in the bush over here, so I just grabbed him. The iguanas are truly beautiful. Which is no wonder why they're often sold and bought in the pet trade. Unfortunately, this is many of the reasons why these invasive species are here in the Everglades. People get them and they forget to even realize how big they actually get. And nobody's going to eradicate their prized pet. So they think letting them go in the wild is the best thing for the pet. Of course, it is probably better for the pet, but it's not good for the ecosystem. In fact, it can be completely detrimental. Thank you for watching this episode of The Great Outdoors. I'm your host, Alex, the Florida Wildlife Guy. If you want to see more epic videos of me in the Everglades, go back and check out the majestic giant nesting, the sea turtle. The link for that video will be at the end of this video. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe.